Recording audio. Test. Okay, good. Audio check is all in place. I'm recording these audio podcasts, and I'm not trying to make them ultra polished. I hope that's okay. If my purpose was to have something ultra highly ultra polished, then I would just pay lots of. I mean, like we get these days that you can just pay money for something ultra polished. To talk about that inside baseball for a little bit, I want to get to something that happened over this weekend. Really great. I mean, just wow experience. Made me a better person. But first on this thing about like ultra polished, I waited several years before I started doing lots and lots of vlogs for a couple reasons. Now, see, a lot of business startup guys might advise me, Jesse, you waited too long because you're too much of a perfectionist. You could have been, 3,000 times as famous as you are now if you just weren't such a perfectionist. I get that, and there's a lot of truth in that. Don't wait until you can make your home look like Fox News or CNN. Well, see, CNN's easy because they just take Anderson Cooper and throw a green screen behind him. But, okay, so I'm going to take CNN out. We're doing Fox News. Glass freaking everywhere. And fans outside on the street trying to wave at you through the window. Okay. No, I've actually been there I've been one of the guys waving at the window through Fox. Yes, I have. It was the 2008 through 2009 New Year thing. Yeah, me and my buddies were there, and we were waving through the glass trying to get on camera. We're like, they're recording? Yeah. And so I've been that. Yeah, that's right. You go to Fox News, the people on the street? Yep, that was me. Okay, all right. But you don't wait to get the studio set up and the people outside waving through the window and everything glass and TVs everywhere before you start being a vlogger. I mean, you don't do that. But I had a couple problems. One, I really didn't have a webcam that recorded anything. I mean, so many videos and decent people talking on YouTube had these at least semi-high resolution webcams, and just technology and where I was and what I was doing to survive as this foreigner in another country. I mean, being an immigrant is difficult. I mean, I wasn't trying to run away from America. Anytime I could have renounced my American citizenship and boom, been quiet where I was and happy, but I wouldn't do it. I'm an American first, and I always will be. And I'm not going to let that go. I just wanted to learn about other countries. But where I was, I just couldn't just go out and buy a new camera. I didn't have a lot of money. And also, I was in this little tiny cramped room. I've made a video out of it, but it just wasn't video material. I didn't have lighting. I would have been a black silhouette. And it's like, what's the point in looking at that? That would have just been really weird. Like, it would have been creepy. So I have standards. I don't need to make it look ultra polished, but I wanted a good camera. Even my lights are just multiple LEDs. It's not, I mean, I would use the Asian, they have these Asian ball light things, like it has tissue paper that wraps around a ball. Like, those are really great. Shade lamps with large diffusers or other means. I don't have the soft glow thing, but I've got lights from multiple angles so that I don't look like a black silhouette. So I have some standards to make sure that you can see me and hear me. The first podcast was made with a $15 microphone. So I'll stop there. The thing was, by waiting a little bit, I built up in character, and I kind of avoided acting like a 20-something fool with a bunch of ideas that I would change my mind about later on. That was another thing, another reason I waited. I wanted to mature to a point where I wouldn't be recanting half of the ideas that made me famous in the first place. And as Limbaugh points out, a lot of these guys on TV, these authors, these pundits, these news anchors, they're not allowed to change their political opinions, even if they have a soul-searching, coming to see the light moment. They can't do that because their careers kind of sort of depend on keeping the following that they've always had. It's really, really hard to do that once you've been shouting. It's really hard to change your ideas once you've been shouting them on the megaphone and printing them in the press, which retains them forever. So, what happened to me this past week? Okay, my point with all that was I want to bring you good quality media, but I don't try to be ultra polished. So when I turn on the thing and I scratch the microphone to see if I see the waves in the mic to make sure the correct mic is feeding in. So I hope that a little bit of reality is okay with you. That's what I want to see all that for. All right, getting on topic. What happened to me over the weekend? I really discovered StackExchange this weekend. The best thing, what I said to my high school psychology teacher and piano client, I taught our kid piano too. Isn't that cool when you're the psychology teacher's son's piano teacher? Isn't that, it's kudos, wasn't it? So she, as she would call it, it was a close encounter. See, I'd gone to the local university library, which was terrible. I don't know if you know about Ferris State University. Now they've got this flight library thing. Before that, it was this weird upstairs thing. And I went up to her and I said, I was doing research and I had an encounter with the Ferris Library. I think it was called the Timmy Library at the time, Timme or something. I said, I had an encounter with the Ferris Library this weekend, and she laughs and goes, was it a close encounter of the third kind? And actually, encounter is why I chose that word, but I let her fill in the gaps. Look, StackExchange is kind of a wild experience, and I had it this weekend. Wow. You know, there's a lot on StackExchange. I caution you about going there and getting an account. You could get seriously banned, have no clue how to crawl out, and just have this really hideous account. They track your IP. They have stuff that figures out who you are. So if you go to a different address, change your name, and sign up again, they know that you're that old user. Maybe not that extreme or sneaky, but like, those computers know how to tell who you are, kind of, and they kind of try to track you. If you get banned once, they don't want you back on as a different person. You got to clean up your own reputation, and newbies don't know how to do that. Rookies don't know how to do that. Well, only because I'm a writer and I'm well argued, you know, one of the favorite things that they talk about is that question's already been asked. Don't ask it again. That answer's already been given. Don't give it again. And most arguments among human beings are about asking the question that's already been asked, or about answering with an answer that's already been given. And there's so much truth to that. Another one of the big things on StackExchange is this site is for talking about how to use English in a sentence. The question you're asking about is a dictionary question, and you need to go to a dictionary blog for that, or something like that. And I'm using vernacular terms. If you're on StackExchange, please don't be offended. Okay, I'm trying to explain this stuff to humans, not Stack Exchangers like us. All right, so there is, you really learn on there how to explain something so that other people have some guess as to what in the world you're talking about. Because if you don't, and then at the same time, you really learn about how to stay on topic, how to be helpful, and how to encourage each other, how to accept help and constructive criticism. You really learn about that. But there's another thing. There's something not as important. StackExchange is wonderful, and I really hope it continues to succeed, and it succeeds even better than it already has, which is great. And I will continue to contribute. I know the butt's coming. So I think I've upped myself to 74%. So I'm ready for my 26% butt. Like everything, it has flaws, and there are some very sinister things, excuse me, at StackExchange. And it's just a little bit disturbing. And I don't accuse anything. There's just some sinister darkness happening there. I've had some very venomous, verbal, passive-aggressive, accusational, jackal language attacks from some people with some good rep. And I really hope in the future StackExchange proves their good nature by writing their software so that people that attack that way don't get that kind of rep or good reputation to have the power to comment like that. Well, that's all I have on the podcast today. StackExchange overall really, really great. And go check out questions there.